Howdy. Welcome back. Reverend John David Duke Jr. here. You can get all the particulars in the previous lessons. We're going to do a couple of exercises for Chapter 2. This is Lesson 4. It's going to get confusing, but I had to make a decision. I'm going to do the chapters lesson by lesson, or the videos lesson by lesson and not chapter by chapter. It's just going to have to be that way. Organization is always difficult, especially these first several chapters, and I just didn't want to have chapter 1, part 1, chapter 1, part 2, and so on and so forth. Let's do a couple of exercises so to see how we're doing and maybe to watch it in motion. So here's what we're going to do. This is from the book. This is one of the exercises. Let's check the page in the book. It's the last page of chapter 2, page 20. And we're going to do number 8, note number and gender, give dictionary form, translate Melakim. And I'll show you how I would do it. And you can develop your own methods and style to help you out. But here's how I would do Melakim, right? So off we go. Without any further ado, all right, and here's your dots. Now, just by way of exercise, you might want to just go ahead and write in the accent so that you know what you're doing, right? And what you're trying to do is noting the number and gender and stuff like that, and then you're trying to find the dictionary form, right? Which means you've got to analyze it and get it to the singular, either masculine or feminine. So this is masculine, at least in form, because I see the "im" ending. Okay? So I'm going to take off the "im" ending. Let's see if I can pull this off. Yeah. Free form. Yes, because I need to be able to do that. So you do this with the free form, and you get rid of it like so, right? And just set it up. And that reminds you that you have, when you're trying to figure this stuff out, masculine, plural, and actually I think what you want to do is plural masculine. I think that's just for consistency's sake. So this is a plural noun, and it is masculine in gender. And what's left is this thing here. But what I really want to do here is just make note, maybe I can get by with a shortcut with mem, lamed, and kaf. And I can, because this is a seglet, melek. And I know this because I have made a separate vocabulary card to memorize the seglets. And I know that seglets are basically pretenders. They're pretending to be like normal nouns. They're like the kid on the playground who, he just didn't fit in. And, one day he would wear clothes that made him fit in with the preppies. And then one day he would wear the clothes that would make him fit in with the burnouts. And then one day he would wear clothes that would make him fit in with hippies. And so on and so forth. That's what a seglet is. He's pretending. First of all, he's pretending to be a polysyllabic noun when he's really just a monosyllabic noun, like some of the other ones with double middle root letters there, double root letters at the end. And he's pretending to be polysyllabic, and here he's pretending to be normal in the plural. And so this is melek, right? Melek. I just learned that about seglets, is they look like normal nouns on Tuesdays at the playground. So that's that one. And so it's plural masculine from melek, which is king, right? So you have to memorize your vocabulary on your own. Let's take a look at another one here. Give dictionary form, translate. Let's look at number 2 just to show you method. So I'm going to get rid of this for the time being and start over. Oops, screwed it all up. Now it's never going to delete. Oh, it did delete. Okay, good. So let's get number 2 on the board, and this is your standard noun looking thing here. This is like a standard. It's going to be 90% of the time. This is how a masculine noun is going to look in the plural. I lost my, speaking of, uh-oh, I touched a button and it's not working right. There we go. Right, and so the free form thing here, boy howdy, that just works so cool. You get rid of it, stand it over here, and it tells you, just it's a reminder that you have a plural noun and it is masculine. And then how do you get to the dictionary form? Well, this is just your standard pro-Platonic reduction right here, right? So it ought to be davar. And if you just look those up, you'll find word. But if you had to write it on a quiz, you'd have to have the vowels there. Davar for word. Oh, and there's a dot. See, right. Don't get pedantic about the dots, especially right now in this vacuum we're in. So let's take a look. We're going to have to do a feminine one too, aren't we? And I'm assuming, by the way, you know how to stop a video and rewind it. So I'm just going to move right along, right? And let's take a look at one here. He's got the... See, the problem is that with the feminine is that they're already done. There's no pro-Platonic reduction to be done. But maybe the ones, yeah, let's look at this one, number 3. It's pretty interesting. Yeah. So, well, what about when you have an unchangeable vowel in the pro-Platonic syllable? And that's what we're having to do here. So, mil, keem, right? Mal, keem, not milakim, but mal achim, right? And I'm going to go ahead and write the accent there to remind myself what I'm doing here, because the accent is key for understanding pro-Platonic reduction, okay? And so I'm gonna check some things out here. That's gonna be my first syllable, right? Consonant, vowel, consonant, and then there's another vowel, consonant. So that's open and unaccented, and I'm checking, oh, there's a long syllable, long vowel, and it's a comates, which means it's not going to reduce under any circumstances. And I'm going to draw another line here, and there's all my syllables. This is a silent schwa because I have a short vowel in a closed, unaccented syllable. Again, I'm assuming you can rewind and watch that again, but I said everything correctly that time. And so you have a consonant, a vowel, and a consonant, right? And what has happened is exactly nothing. The accent has shifted, but you haven't reduced anything because of that comates in the second syllable, which doesn't reduce. And so your actual noun is everything you see there, less, oops, and I'm going to have to redo, right? Less this thing here, which is your masculine plural masculine ending. So this is a plural masculine noun, and all your vowels are the same, and they are this patak, the schwa, and the comates. The accent is here because it's the last syllable of the word, and that's it. Try not to make it too hard. What has to be done, as you see, is that there's rules being invoked all the time. All right, this is an open syllable. This is a closed, unaccented syllable. This is a comates in the second, the pretonic syllable, so it's not gonna reduce. If it were a seri, it would have reduced, and so on and so forth. That's the real work that has to be done, and it is excruciating, but you got to do it. Otherwise, what you're going to end up doing is working really hard per problem. And you'll notice that because I have these rules memorized, I don't know the exercises. I'm doing this cold. Of course, I've done it 20-something times in the course of 20 years. But the point being that it's the rules that are guiding me, not my memorization of the problems, so to speak. Now, if you really want to be good at Hebrew, you ought to write the things in Hebrew. Now, I have noticed in the course of my long and storied career at Concordia Lutheran Theological Seminary, and also online at Concordia Lutheran Seminary in St. Louis over the internet, that students will simply stop and not write in Hebrew. Man, you are making a big mistake. Don't stop. write these things out in Hebrew because it teaches you Hebrew. You're having to teach yourself Hebrew. I mean, so far, the first one, write in Hebrew. Number one, horse, sus. Now you don't have to memorize horse anymore. But you get the horses, and that's your pretonic. There's no propretonic or pretonic syllable. Well, there is a pretonic, but there's nothing going on because it's a monosyllabic word. But that's the word, right? Words and word from words. Words from word. So let's do that. I'm going to switch over to the paint thing here. And just take a look. Let me get to the app. And so here's Davar. And I know it's day 3 of Hebrew or whatever it is for you. And so you've had to look at the vocabulary and remember how to write the word davar, and it took you about twice as long as it took me. Okay, it's all right. You're fine. So it takes a little longer, right? And you do this thing here. Okay, I know what's going to happen because I'm working at it. The accent is going to shift. This is a masculine noun. How do I make a masculine noun plural? Well, I'm going to change colors. And if you're doing this with multicolored pens, or you're doing it on paint like I'm doing it, you're doing yourself a favor that way too. I'm going to add the eem ending. That's just how you do it. And then I've changed syllables, right? And this accent mark is going to choo-choo over here, make a station on that resh, and that's the new syllabification, which means that I have to re-syllabify. And this is after that one because I'm going faster, but I'm assuming again, like you've done this now. C, V, C, slash, V, C, open unaccented syllable, slash, C, V, C. There's your syllabification. Open unaccented syllable. Tonic, pretonic, propretonic, and write it out. And when you get to going fast, then you know you've got it right. When you can do, okay, tonic, pretonic, propretonic. Now you've got the thing. You've got the dance. And if you're in the exercises and you don't see a tonic, propretonic, or pretonic and a propretonic, you're probably doing it wrong. Okay? And so figure out what you're doing. Okay, so I've got this propretonic, and I'm checking the syllable and the vowel. The syllable is open and unaccented, and the vowel is a schwa. That's gonna get out of town. It's reducing. It's leaving town. And so I'm going to rewrite the whole thing here for the sake of messiness or neatness. There's your commates. It's going to stay there. And that one's going to reduce to a schwa. There it is, devarim. And if you swap out some sort of a guttural here, it's going to be one of these kind of schwas, right? And so on and so forth. Right? Okay? You're doing fine. But you don't understand. I know. Write in the comments section if you don't understand, and I'll get through to you somehow. I mean, I'll like reach out and contact you, right? I'll help you. Honest. Next question. Let's see. So let's write out the word. We want to do plurals. I don't want to do righteousness and righteous acts. I do want to do scroll and scrolls, so let's do that one. The reason being righteousness and righteousnesses. Let's take a look at the vocab together. All right, I'm going to scroll over here for you. Let's look at the vocab for the week, for the chapter. So you've got righteousness, which is ts, da, ka. To make it plural, you're just going to take off the commates hey, and you're going to turn it into holem wow tau, and that's all. There's nothing else going to happen. Righteousnesses is going to be ts, da, koth. All right, it's not a challenge. It's just a matter of knowing what to do at that point. But the challenge is scroll. So let's go back and look at scroll real quick. So we're going to write it in number 5. We're going to write it in the singular, and that's just looking it up. And we're going to write it in the plural after that. So let's go do that. All right. So I've looked it up. And I've had a good time writing it because you got all these wonderful flowing lines. And it is spelled like that. It's a wonderful saglet. I don't have to do any thinking because I know already from a few minutes ago, but from the translation part and the figuring out the reduction systems, right? I know without having to do any work that this word is going to pretend to be like davar in the plural, which is de, va, reem. And with these consonants, it's just s, fa, reem. That's all. It's pretending to be normal. And that's the word for scroll or scrolls in plural, right? So there's your lessons, your exercises. That's your real challengers. And just for the sake of completeness, so you're not yelling at me through the screen. Oh, come on! I don't want to have to write in the comments, and everybody will know that I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, let's do Torah. It's the same principle as righteousness is. I was touching the screen. Sorry. Now it's all fouled up, and I have lost contact. It's funny. It's still doing something. I'm actually enjoying this. I'm going to unplug it and plug it in real quick. Stop you. There we go. That was kind of funny. Punishing me for all my evil deeds. Okay. So, let's write Torah. There's a clue that nothing's going to happen. This thing here is an unchangeably long mater letter vowel. So nothing's happening. In addition to that, this is your feminine singular termination. Okay? So when you want to change it into a plural, you're actually not adding anything. You are replacing that with this. See? All right, you talked me into it. Righteousness and righteousness. This is t, d, ka. There's your thing there. See, because look at when you actually do the syllabification. Let me slow it down for you, right? There's your first vowel. Remember, that's a mater letter vowel. So it's a vowel consonant open, but the accent is here, so it almost like moot. Make a line for your syllable there. Vowel consonant open, unaccented, but it doesn't make a difference because you've got the propretonic syllable here, right? Tonic, pretonic, propretonic. Oh, look, it's already a schwa because that's what happened already to make it feminine. So to make it plural, you simply replace this with oath, like I'm going to do here. Koth. Just like Toroth. And nothing else changes. Right? Okay. So that's how you do it. I hope you enjoyed that. And, feeling a little rambunctious out in the woods today. Scouting out. Making 2 different things happen. Scouting for deer because it's September 24th here. So which means it's a week from opening day of archery season, which I participate in avidly. And also getting a campsite ready for winter camping. You don't want to be getting a campsite ready for winter camping in January. You want to get your January camping site ready in September. And so we did that. And I'm feeling a little randy and having some fun. So, translate that into the energy you need to memorize these rules. A lot of induction and a tad bit of deduction along the way. Okay? So enjoy. Hope you develop a love for the language as you go along, and maybe one day you can be rambunctious on the old internet teaching people Hebrew. Take care. See you next time.